Hello, guys. Welcome back to Mental Health Monday. This is Noah with Simple Betterment, and this is our series where we take a mental health question or topic left by you guys in the comments below at a form that I've created where all the answers are anonymous, so I can't tell who gave me the answers, and then we talk about the topic that you've sent me. So today, our topic is about having a lack of motivation. Why don't I pull up the answer exactly here? We've got having no motivation and feeling unable to work towards anything. So that's the topic we're going to be tackling today. Um, as I normally do, I'm going to start this out with a Bible verse. For those who do not believe in the Bible, you know, you don't have to look too crazily into this verse. I just like to bring up a Bible verse for those who do like to pay attention to the Bible, and I believe relates to our topic. So today we've got John 16:33. It says, "In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart because I have overcome the world." All right, we're going to get right into it. So, how do I fix my issue of having no motivation and feeling unable to work towards anything? So, believe it or not, I struggle with this pretty often. I think a common theme that will come up through these videos is that I probably struggle with a lot of these same things or have struggled with a lot of these same things. So I'm going to give you some of my advice. There's some general advice in here, but you know, when it comes to things like motivation, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I just listen to David Goggins, carry the boats, man. You just got to do it." And for some people that works, for some people that doesn't. So I'm going to give you what my take is on the issue, and I'm going to give you some things that have helped me as well. So I've got like 5 steps here that I've kind of laid things out in order of what I think matters when it comes to developing motivation and doing things when you don't have motivation. So, first one, it's gonna be cliche, guys. I'm sorry, but it's believe in yourself. Now, I understand. Everyone tells you that you just gotta believe in yourself. Just gotta believe in yourself. I'm gonna explain to you what I think that means. So, believing in yourself is just like believing that you can achieve whatever you want to do. Right? A lot of people don't have motivation to do numerous things. Cleaning their room, doing the dishes. It can be something simple like that. It could be like going to work and making more money, or never getting married, never amounting to anything. It slowly gets worse and worse. It can be pretty bad. Um, if you don't believe that you can overcome with whatever struggle your issue that you have, or you don't believe that you can actually do the thing that you feel unmotivated to do, then you will never be able to do it. So the first step is just believing that you can do it, believing that it's possible and that there are things you can do to do it. And you don't necessarily even have to know what the things are that you need to do in order to believe you can do it. If you don't believe that you can do something, then you'll never be able to do something. So that's my first step. Pretty basic, I believe. Get it, believe. Just kidding, guys. So we're going to go on to the second step, which is create a plan. Okay, so now that you have kind of been like convincing yourself you can do it and believing that you can actually achieve this thing that you want to achieve, you got to create a plan on how to achieve it, right? There's numerous things. I'm going to start out with I don't know what I want to achieve, or I don't know what my goal is with doing this thing that I'm unmotivated to do. So, like, I want to go to work, but I'm not motivated to go to work because I don't have a goal in mind for work, right? So, my first step is going to be finding a goal. It's the first step of creating a plan. Is you find a goal that you have. I want to go to work because I need money to pay my rent. Okay, that's a need. But the goal there is get enough money for rent, or, what I like to do, which is, not always the best, but I try to put in a little secondary goal or include my main goal into a goal that actually makes me want to do the thing. So, like, I want to go to work so I can pay my rent. It's not necessarily like I want to go to work, but I have to go to work. So that's my goal, is to make money for rent. But my secondary goal is that I want to have money after paying rent so that I can go bowling with my friends, or so I can pay for clothes and, things of that sort. Then your next thing is going to be, you know, figuring out what it'll take to achieve that goal. Okay. I want to pay my rent and have money for clothes. So I have to work enough hours to pay my rent plus whatever hours it takes to pay for my clothes. That's going to be, figuring out what it is. And you then divide out the steps, right? So generally, when it comes to something like paying your rent, it's kind of a short term goal. Um, you kind of divide out, okay, well, I have 4 weeks to pay out my rent. So you have to divide out your steps for your plan. And you're going to say, all right, I'm going to divide out, well, week one, I'm going to work this many hours. And week two, I'm going to work this many hours. Well, week three, I don't want to work as many hours because I kind of want to hang out with my friends, or I want to have time to kind of decompress after the past 2 weeks. So I'm going to work less hours on week three, but I worked more hours on week one and two to make up for it. And I'm going to work more hours on week four to make up for it. Things like that. You don't have to always be like, oh, I've got to make my rent. And guess I have to work 40 hours every week while going to college. That's not always the plan. You got to divide it out into attainable steps that you can do yourself individually. Um, and then, step three kind of leans into step two is take small steps. So burnout tends to happen with these things, oh, I want to redo my closet and I want to buy all these new clothes and I want to change my style. That's one of my current goals. If I were to just, I don't know, take everything from my savings and pay for my entire closet right now, I probably wouldn't spend my whole savings. So that would be, I don't have a ton of money in my savings, but I have enough that, I wouldn't really just spend all of it on clothing. But if I were to even spend half of my savings, right, I'm going to not only burn out of my money, but I'm going to go, oh man, now to rebuild my savings, I have to work all this time and I want to build my savings as quick as possible. So I'm going to work all this time in 3 weeks, and then you burn out really fast. So take small steps towards your goal. When I want to rebuild my closet, I'm going to go, okay, after each paycheck, once I pay everything I need to, I'm going to buy one item of clothing, or I'm going to buy 2 items of clothing. I break it down into small steps that are making it possible for me. If you want to go to the gym, right? Don't go, oh, guess I got to start going 6 days a week. No one starts going 6 days a week. I mean, I guess that's not true. Some people do, but like, you don't have to, okay? And just because other people can do it, it doesn't necessarily mean you can do it, and it doesn't make you any better or worse because you can or you can't do that. Do something that you can do attainably. Oh, I want to start going to the gym. I guess I'll start out with 2 days a week. And then if I do good with that for a little while, I'll start going 3 days a week. And then if I don't really like it all that much, but I still like it enough and I still want to keep it up since it's my goal, I'm still going to go 3 days a week, but I'm not going to add a fourth day. Just do small things that are attainable for you. And my fourth point is that motivation is fleeting. Now you might say, Noah, what do you mean motivation is fleeting? You're doing an entire video on how to have motivation, what to do when you have no motivation. Why would you tell me that it doesn't matter if I have motivation? Well, the reason that I think it doesn't matter if you have motivation is because consistency will always beat motivation. And consistency usually requires discipline, which is, in my mind, doing something no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, no matter how much motivation you have. If I wake up every day and make my bed every morning because my goal is to keep my room clean and orderly, I'm going to wake up some mornings, oh, I've had 3 hours of sleep. I was up way too late, or there was a storm that kept me up and I couldn't sleep. I woke up with 3 hours of sleep. The last thing I'm going to want to do is wake up and immediately make my bed. But because it's my goal and because it's a small step that I made to achieve my goal, I'm going to make the bed anyways. I'm going to stay consistent with it because those small things that you're consistent with will add up eventually over time. And especially if you have zero motivation to do anything, it's really going to, benefit you in the long run to just stay consistent with something, even if you don't feel like doing it. Um, no matter how you feel, this is what I wrote down. Do it no matter what. So whatever your goal is, whatever your small step is towards reaching your goal, you just got to do it. And I know that that's tough, a lot of times, but it's where our last thing is going to come into, which is have grace, guys. Okay, you might, okay, I guess this doesn't apply to everyone. So I would say you might be able to be like David Goggins. You might be able to wake up every day at 4 a.m., run 10 miles a day, eat only 600 calories a day and stay in shape and then run another 10 miles. You might be able to do that. But I would be willing to bargain that the average person does not want to do that, first of all. And second of all, it's very hard for them to do that. So you have to realize, hey, even though I'm trying to stay consistent, even though I'm trying to take all of these things, I'm supposed to pile them on top of each other so I can get my goal. I need to rest. I need time where I'm not being consistent, where I'm not waking up and doing the same thing every day so I don't burn out, especially when it comes to anything involving school or work or anything that causes like mental anguish. You have to have breaks, you have to have time where you rest and you recuperate so that you're able to continue with your consistency. So there's times you're going to do that, and you should schedule those times. You should plan times around, okay, this week, right? So this is something that's going on in my life currently. I have to pay for things for college, and I also have to pay for things for my girlfriend's birthday. The past couple weeks, have not worked a whole lot, so I don't have a whole lot of money coming in. So this week, because I need to pay for all of those things, I'm going to work extra, okay? But I'm spacing out everything and taking small steps. I'm working one day and taking a day off. I'm working another day, taking a day off. Then working 2 days and then taking a day off. Those are ways that I actuate these steps into my real life. And I go, okay, I'm taking these small steps in order to make this plan and this, goal work for my life and work how things work for me. Because things that work for other people don't always work for you. I'm also giving myself these days off in between so that I can take a break, I can rest, I don't have to clean, I don't have to, I probably should clean. I probably will do some cleaning, guys. Don't worry about that. But, I'm not going to have any major things that are kind of weighing on me, that are taking up my time, that are binding me to, some sort of obligation, because I'm taking these days to rest and relax and recuperate. Because if not, I will burn out. And then in the end, I'm just going to have no motivation again. I'm going to repeat the cycle. And then one other thing that I would also say that comes with having grace, this is not something that you're going to plan out. This is what I'm about to bring up is entirely unplanned, and that is why it causes issues. But that is having a setback, okay? You've been consistent for 4 days in a row, and then you have your rest day. And then the next week, you do the same thing. You've been consistent for 4 days in a row, and then you have your rest day. And then the third week, you're consistent 2 days in a row. Third day, you just don't feel like it. It's really hard for you to be consistent. You're super tired. You feel really bogged down and stressed. So you're not consistent at all that day. You don't contribute at all to your goal, and you have a setback. Okay. You don't necessarily need to factor this in as your rest day. Okay. You could still have your rest day that week and still have your time that you've allotted to chill out that week. But the day after you have a setback like that, get right back on it. If you do not, you're going to get stuck in your setback and you're not going to be able to keep moving forward, and you're just going to be stuck with no motivation. So that's my 5-step plan to being more motivated, or I guess working through the feelings of no motivation and not feeling like you want to or can work through anything. I'm going to take this moment right here to give a little shout out. I've been wearing some redeemed apparel right here. This whole video, we're going to have the link in the description. Hopefully, I think we can this time. So check that out. And then also, I want to give a shout out to my older crowd that's been watching me. We've got, only one viewer that's 40 or older, according to my demographics. And let's just say, still is quite a large viewership. So I just want to give a shout out to Big Schmidt. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all of the fun time playing poker with you. And I hope you made it this far in the video. If you guys made it this far, like and subscribe. I got 2 videos here and here that are going to be suggested for you. Other than that, I'll see you next Monday or whenever I make a new video. You'll have to wait and see. Bye, guys. We'll see you next time.